Good morning, everyone. It is Black Friday. I hope everyone's well. We are here to do November's facility roundup. And as you can see already up in the nest, we put up the November facility roundup stats. That's just a visual reference. It's going to be stuff that we'll be covering today in the roundup. Suresh, good to see you already on stage. Curtis, how you doing? I haven't heard from Shannon, but he may, as he did last time, he may come in a little bit late. Another thing I'm going to just go ahead and do right now, because it is Black Friday, is I'm going to put our promotion also up in the nest for people to see. So I've just put that up there as well. You can get a free first month of hosting with a purchase of a new S21. So that's great to see. And that will be live until Cyber Monday, which is this upcoming Monday. So we'll have that live this weekend. Suresh, if you're ready, you and I we could go ahead, and if you want to start talking about facilities, we could also wait a minute or two. I'm going to see if Shannon is going to be joining us. I know Fridays he's moving around a lot, and this is Black Friday. So originally we were thinking about pushing this out a little bit, but we want to keep pace and we want to make sure that this does bookend November properly. So we decided to do it today on Black Friday, and it also gives us that moment to share about the promotion.
Can you hear me?
Yep, I can hear you.
Awesome. Maybe should we kick things off? And maybe if Shannon joins in, then that's fine, I guess.
Yeah, I think that's the show must go on. And the other thing, as Suresh and I have already kind of talked about, is that this is Black Friday. This is in the shadow of Thanksgiving, at least for the people stateside yesterday. So a lot of people are taking the day off. A lot of people are shopping, whether that's online or in stores. So might be a little bit less attended, but that's okay. The show must go on. And if you're ready, Suresh, let's go ahead and talk about the November updates.
Yeah, I was thinking like maybe I'll talk through the image that we're all looking at. Starting at the top, overall uptime 97.59. So obviously we see a lot of variance through the year, which eventually adds up to a 95% uptime goal for the year. Usually we aim for about 95%, but it just we leave account for variance across the year during periods when there's a high curtailment in comparison to others. So we're heading into December and to the colder months, so we do expect some uptick in curtailments and some impact to our uptime, but overall it seems to be going steady. We've been floating about the 98 mark, which has been good. I was thinking maybe what I'll do is I'll just talk through the image, starting from the top left. So we've got Ontario up front, and Ontario overall has been looking strong for us. It's been a slide that we've been working at for almost 3 years, in maybe a few months, and they've been good partners with us. We continue to iterate forward and make things better. Overall, we've had a fairly quiet month in the month of November for Ontario. More or less, our statistics for machine utilization have remained consistent compared to last month. Mostly like floating around the 96% mark. We do have a few hundred miners that are being looked at in a consistent manner. And that's something that we are monitoring. Not much to report on Ontario. They've been working well. We are trying our best to improve our communication channels with them. But overall, nothing much to report there. Jared, did you just want me to go through the next one, or did you want to ask something?
No, I think it's okay if we just kind of run through. I don't have any questions specifically on Ontario, but as we move through, if I have questions, I'll be sure to ask in between. If you've just joined and you've joined a little bit later, know that it is Black Friday and we have a promotion up in the nest. And also, if you're following along and you want to see the visual that Suresh is referencing, that's also up in the nest. So that's all. But I think continue on.
Yeah. So I'll move over to maybe like the just on the top, just I'll continue from the top left all over to the next one. So that's Iowa 3. So Iowa 3 has been one of our recently deployed sites. Things have been going really well. We have a great relationship with our partners, and I think they've been really proactive with the work that they're doing. I think one of the themes that you're going to notice across the roundup, I think this is a theme that you're going to notice in all across Bitcoin mining for the next few months is there's a lot of deployments happening. I think it almost feels like the industry as a whole was sitting on a lot of old generation miners, kind of waiting to see where the market goes. And I think now that like over the last few months, we've seen like clear indication of where Bitcoin price is heading. I think we're seeing a lot of miners and a lot of facilities make very immediate moves in putting on new generation miners and putting on a lot of hash rate. So it's not just us who's undergoing a lot of DRAX and a lot of miner movements and deployments, but we're seeing that a lot with our partners as well. So Iowa 3 and Iowa 2, both of our partners are engaged heavily in deployments right now. So they're trying really hard to maintain the day-to-day operations, maintenance and cleaning and all of the other tasks that they need to do at the site, and then balancing that with the deployments. With that in mind, I think they've overall done a good job to maintain 95% utilization, but we would like that to be a bit higher. And that's what we will be working on with them going into next month. Overall, uptime has been good. Most of the curtailments that we've had at Iowa have been short and brief and have only affected a small portion of the miners we have at our site, which has meant that majority of the miners at Iowa have continued to hash consistently. So that I'll just give everybody a moment to absorb that. And
and Suresh, I think while we're talking about Iowa, it's worth calling out, and I'll share the post up in the nest, that we've recently acquired a site in Iowa, and we'll hope to have 8 megawatts by the end of January, with a total of 30 megawatts, probably slated for calendar year next year. So just to call that out, just while you're mentioning Iowa, I'll throw that up in the nest.
Yeah, 100%. Love to talk about that. Big step for Compass. I think it's our first time owning and operating a site ourselves, and everybody at Compass is super excited. Can't wait. I think it's going to be great. Moving on to the next one. So we have the Manitoba 2 through 9. This is a group of small facilities all close to each other in the Manitoba region. I think we all group them all together because it's easier to look at them as a group, since they are all closely together. Utilization is 95%. Uptime has been 99.8%. We didn't see a lot of curtailment at Manitoba. We might see some going into deep winter, maybe in December, but recently we haven't been having any curtailments. Things have been smooth over there. We do have, because Manitoba is one of our sites that we've been at for over 3 years, so we do have some older generation equipment over there, which is something that we're actively managing with the site partner and technician. So just managing some DRACs and like swapping out older gen units for new gen units and just maintaining fleet efficiency. This is something that we're doing across all of our sites, and not much to report at Manitoba. Things have been smooth. Performance has been fairly similar to last month.
Sweet. And and I think having the visual is really good. So if you're following along, we've done Ontario 1, we've done Iowa 3, we've just finished out the Manitoba sites, and I assume, Suresh, if we're going left to right, we'll go down to Ohio 2.
Yes. Let's look at Ohio 2. So, do you want to say something?
Nope. Just calling out that we have the visual and we're creating that, so that way, as we go through the sites, you can kind of take a look and see what the site's uptime has been, the utilization, and also the size of the site. And that's why we've created that overall heat map to show all the megawatts that we have up. And then as we talk about each site, you're able to visually see the percent of which those sites make up of our overall basically fleet that's online.
Yeah. Appreciate it, man. Um, in relation to Ohio too, so you'll notice that in comparison to some of our other sites, they have like a utilization that is particularly lower than others, and this is representative of the electrical issues and some heat issues that we're facing at the site. What basically we're struggling with, which is something that we spoke about in last month's facility roundup as well, is we're faced with some electrical issues inside some of the containers at the site. This is not something that can be solved in a straightforward manner. This requires a professional electrician team to come out to the site, and this is a fairly expensive job to be done. And unfortunately, this is not fully inside Compass Mining's control. And this is something that we need to work really closely with the site owners and get this done in a systematic manner. We're working really closely with the partner, trying to figure this out. And once we do complete this, we do expect machine utilization to start pushing closer to, I would say, a 96, 97 would be a realistic expectation for Ohio too. And obviously, like we'll just keep aiming higher once we're there. But at the moment, we feel that somewhere between 3 to 4% of the miners at the site are currently affected by the electrical issues, which is pushing the utilization downwards.
Sweet. Yeah. Thank you for being candid about some of the challenges that we have at Ohio too. And I think that's kind of at the, that's really why we're creating this space on, once a month to talk about things a little bit more in depth, and then allow people, if they want to come up on stage, to ask questions. And so anyone who would like to come up on stage, just go ahead and request, and we can do that. Especially if you have a question about a particular facility that we're talking about in that moment. So yeah, but continue on. It looks like we're into Nebraska too.
Yeah. So Nebraska too is something that is a site that Compass operates. We deployed there a couple of months ago, and since then we've been working diligently to improve the operations over there. So this was an interesting opportunity for us. We operate there, but we took over an existing facility. So I think the key difference over here is that we didn't get the opportunity to set up the network infrastructure and the electrical setup the way we would have done it. But this is common Bitcoin mining. Sometimes you take over operations that somebody's been already going at for a few years. And what we ran into was it's not that the electrical infrastructure, the network infrastructure is not usable. It just could be better. And I think what basically the team on site is trying to do is keep the machines that they have running, while at the same time work through the network issues and the electrical issues that they have on site, and just continue to work through the containment and airflow issues. So they're kind of having to balance the day-to-day actions with the site improvement projects that they have ongoing. So starting with the main one that they're working on is networking. We're noticing a very small percentage, somewhere between like 10 to 20 miners that are flipping off on the network. This is something that we're working on. This is just the net. We believe this is related to the network infrastructure, and we're trying to narrow it down. And there's some containment and airflow issues that we're managing as well. But overall, we don't think the airflow and containment issues to be as high priority going into winter. But we will be working on that anyway. And of course, we expect that the network issue will be resolved soon as well. But despite that, we've been able to deploy all of the miners, de-rack a bunch of old gen miners, re-rack a bunch of new gen machines, all while managing the teething issues that do come up with the new facility. So overall, very positive signs for the on-site team we have over there, and positive signs for us as well for the new site that we've taken on, and we've managed to get it up and running consistently. Uptime has been excellent, 99.69. We hardly had like about a couple of hours of downtime at Nebraska this month, so that is excellent.
Sweet. On to the next.
Yeah. So maybe what I'll do is I'll speak about Indiana one and Indiana two together because they're managed by the same partner, and maybe it's better to understand them as a whole. So Indiana one and two, both of them have been functioning well. We have been working closely with the partner to expand our slots at the site. We've been deploying as much as possible. They have been extremely amenable for us to deploy new gen machines and swap over some of the older equipment. You'll notice that on our website, you do have immediate deployment options at Indiana. That's mainly because of the relationship we have with our partners, and they're always willing to accept new units for us and make those swaps in real time. So that's how like you see the turnkey machine 48-hour guarantee on our website and the location. So usually we work closely with our partners to make these things possible. So Indiana is one of those. As we mentioned before, I think leading up into like September, we spoke about like some of the overheating issues that we've had in Indiana. So now that the weather has changed, we are not facing those issues anymore. And we are also working on potentially having a more direct communication line with the on-site technicians at Indiana so that we can talk to them more directly in relation to specific machine issues and troubleshoot them in real time. We do expect this change to probably kick in later this month, later this month in December, I mean. We're still working through it right now, just getting our systems to talk to each other, and we expect this to be in full flow starting next week. And hopefully that should result in improved uptime for miners at Indiana in December.
Yeah, that sounds good.
Mm,
The weather has definitely changed. I'm in New England right now, and it is snowing and colder, and so the different challenges of cold weather are now upon the mining industry. Go on to probably also another place that's feeling some cold right now. Do you want to go to
yeah.
Minnesota?
Yeah. I think Minnesota is a really interesting one. So Minnesota is one of those sites that we've had really good utilization almost throughout the whole year. Just like great utilization, been consistently taking somewhere about like 97, 98%. But today, you see for the month of November, they've only got utilization of 98%, which is exactly what you'd expect. But their uptime has dropped dramatically to 93%. And I think that is mainly to do with the weather change. It's really cold, and the demand on the grid is just incredible at Minnesota right now. And they are pretty much curtailing almost every other day. So in the month of November, the data we're looking at currently in the screenshot that we have up there, we're looking at the data for 1st of November through 28th of November. That's 28 days. And in those 28 days, we've had 14 curtailments in Minnesota. That just basically means we're averaging one curtailment every 2 days. And the average downtime was 3 hours. So that's 14 is a significant amount of downtime. So in 28 days, that's almost about approximately, I would say, about 5 to 8% of downtime. Definitely significant on a long enough time horizon, and I think that's also affecting their operational ability. But I think like you can't even tell that they're so good at managing the machines and diagnosing machines and troubleshooting machines after curtailment that you don't even see the impact of the curtailments on their utilization. It's just affected their uptime, which is slightly below 95% now. But yeah, we should be seeing better uptime from the site as the weather improves.
Cool. And then I think you, I mean, I guess move on to Texas 5, and then we'll finish out with Ohio 2, or did you already, excuse me, Iowa 2, or did you already kind of touch upon stuff in Iowa 3?
No, I think we can hit Iowa two after Texas five. I'll just hit up Texas five and then go to Iowa two. So
Perfect.
Texas five is of course an ERCOT facility, and as you'd expect with ERCOT pricing and curtailments, there has been quite a few curtailments at Texas five. Um, it's not that many in comparison to some of the previous months, but it still had 8 incidents, which is significant. Um, the interesting thing about Texas 5 is that it is a site that is connected to a wind power plant in Texas, and it does get affected by availability of power. So they've mainly been fairly self-sufficient for majority of the year, but we're starting to see increased grid demand, and they're having to sell the electricity into the grid. So that's just affected some of their utilization and their uptime. You see that at 94% and 96% respectively. And I think in relation to Iowa 2, not much to report over there. This is the same partner we've been working with for Iowa 3 as well. You can see that Iowa 2 is performing really well. And smooth, it's things have been smooth. We are continuing to work with this partner. We started working with them like over the last 3-4 months, and we continue to get better at working with them and have high hopes.
Sweet. That at least rounds out the facility updates that we have, at least in the visual. Um, Suresh, I also just want to take the moment and just call out all the things that are up in the nest. So up in the nest, you have the visual of what we've been talking about with the facility updates. You also have, as today's Black Friday, we have our promotion today. If you purchase an S21, you'll get the first free month of hosting. And then we've also mentioned some of the bigger news that we'll continue to share when we can about Compass and its acquisition of our new site, which we're going to be able to own and operate, which is another big step in Compass's trajectory to continue to show up the best we can for our customers, and ensure that utilization and uptime are doing well and that people have their hash online. Suresh, as we kind of close out today, do you want to talk maybe a little bit about the relocations we have going on?
Yeah. So we have two active relocations at the moment. So we have the tail end of the Texas 3 and Nebraska relocation wrapping up. So the Texas 3 Nebraska relocation, we started with relocating approximately 20,000 machines, a little over 20,000 machines. We relocated majority of them. Some of them were obviously shipped back to customers, depending on their demands, and only like about 800 units remain for relocation, which are planned for deployment over the next couple of weeks. And in relation to the Texas 1 relocation, we have approximately 2,000 machines that still remain in Texas 1. The rest of the machines have been packed up and shipped out. So originally, when we started this relocation, Texas 1 had somewhere around 6,500 machines. Majority have now left the site in preparation for a December 31st wrap up at the site. The final batch of units will be shipped out in 2 batches. So batch 1 is in process right now for December batch 1, which is we've already sent them the information, and we expect these machines to come offline in the next week. So I would say between 2nd of December and the 7th of December. And then we have the final batch of machines coming offline at the end of December, which will be most likely shipped to another site, one of the other sites that we have coming online. So this might be Iowa 4, as Jared has been alluding to, the facility that we own and operate now. We are working on it, and we expect that site to be online hopefully in sometime in February or January. So either these machines will be going over there or at one of our existing partners, or maybe another new site that we potentially can bring customers online. Current estimates suggest that majority of the Texas 1 relocation customers will be online by January 2025.
Sweet. Yeah, that's a good timeline, and it's also ties in with the new Iowa site, Iowa 4, which is very exciting that we're going to have that online. We're coming up to the half-hour mark, and if we don't actually have any questions today, we can go ahead and give people a half an hour of their Black Friday back, and just call out. And I have to look at the calendar now because the next time that we have our facility update will be, and I'm looking probably Friday the 27th. So we will be back on Friday the 20th. Well, actually, I don't want to say that. Might be Friday the 27th or Friday the 3rd, but stay on the lookout. And we will be sure to leave that. If you're listening to this on YouTube, actually, we'll leave that link description so you can be sure to join if you're listening to the recording on YouTube. And if you're listening to this on X, please just follow us on X and stay tuned. It will either be on Friday the 27th or it will be on January 3rd for the December facility roundup. If there aren't any questions, though, from audience members, I think what we'll do is close out. And I just want to thank you, Suresh, for taking the time today and going through the facilities.
Thanks, Jared, and happy Thanksgiving to everyone.
Thanks so
Enjoy
much,
Black
Suresh.
Friday.
Yep.
See
Have
you
a
guys.
happy Black Friday. And one last little shill up in the nest. And from now through Cyber Monday, we do have a promotion going. If you're buying S21, you get a free first month of hosting, and that will be live on our site. You can go ahead and use that. The code is Black Friday 2024. So one last little shill, but when you can buy an S21 with free hosting, it's a great thing to take advantage of. So anyway, thank you, Suresh. Thank you, everyone, for being here. Thank you, Curtis. If you're listening to this on LinkedIn, actually, I think Curtis has us going live on LinkedIn, which is great. But I hope everyone has a good Friday. And yeah, we will see you next month. And once again, stay tuned. We need to look at the calendar and make sure it works. But it will either be Friday the 27th or January 3rd, Friday, January 3rd at 11 a.m. So anyways, thank you so much for showing up, guys. And we'll see you next month.